Hey, hi folks. Um, yeah, this is Ravi. As you already aware of me, so I am the Reddit this community owner portfolio Reddit hub. So first of all, I would like to thank you for everyone showing the interest on the tool which I have developed to track my own portfolio. So as I communicated in the other post. So I am started working on the development of this tool in order to install as a standalone PC software so that anyone can install on their own PC and uh, do the analysis on their own. So no finance information or I mean the mutual fund investment statement or analysis data will not go outside of your PC or laptop. Okay. So that is the core thing. So as many of you given the feedback, uh, this analysis record to be done on their own systems rather than sharing to any third party site, which they are not quite comfortable. Correct. So to start with that, so I would like to give you the progress what I have made so far and what features I was really trying to develop it. For the features, primarily I am looking for it to track my portfolio so that I can take my very correct decisions, right? So these features are all started by asking question to myself. Okay, so it's not basically started as a any product or software uh, kind of startup kind of things. Okay, this for my own purpose which I developed and I shared the journey and you people are interested. So and since you all interested, so I am developing for it's a common software so that anyone can install and benefit out of it. Okay, so coming to that, the progress. Okay, so the progress where we stand today. Correct. So, in terms of these implementations, I would like to tell you this is, I think many are bit of understanding that people who knows Power BI technology and all, they were bit of understanding that it's a simple template where we can import into a Power BI desktop tool and we can do the analysis. But this is not something very simple as it is looks like. This I have been spent at almost past 1 year. Where we stand today on this development progress is, as I stated, it's a bit of complex things. It's not only a template, it required we need a NAV data and we need a everyday NAV and we need NAV for from your very first investment start date to till date for your individual fund as well as your benchmark fund, and we need a Power BI code to mimic your investment data against the benchmark fund for the same, not only the investment, even the redemption and all the things, correct? So, which is a bit of complex side. Okay, so I'm planning to complete this whole integration in the simple manner by end of September. Okay, so that is my target. I am since I'm not purely so working on this alone. So I do have a day-to-day office work. So I am spending some 10-20 percentage of the time towards this and trying to polish this software. Okay, so the target for the beta testing is September 25. So where I am planning to give for 10 or 20 interested our own community people based on their feedback, we will be further enhance it. And then once we got the basic core feature works fine and uh, then I will circulate to all other people as well. Okay. So coming to the list of futures, what I am targeting for, correct. So the very first thing is, uh, as I said, this not only just a mentioned in the previous post, it's not only the portfolio versus benchmark comparisons. So this, I want to make this software as my day-to-day portfolio tracker, and I want to do the portfolio comparisons. And based on the comparison, I want to take actions of whether to exit or hold it, and even I want to have some data points of uh, when should I do the lump sum investment, when should I not do the lump sum investment, and there are other questions like, okay, if I have in this example also I have redeemed almost approximately 8,84,000. So what could be my uh, long-term capital gain tax or short-term capital gain tax, and when and all I have redeemed all these things. Basically, I want to know. Even I want to know the portfolio allocations and all the stuffs. Correct. So, so I have developed this as a complete tool which I required for everyday tracking as well as uh, to make the informed decisions based on the performance as well. Okay, so to start with it, the very first feature I would like to bring up is the portfolio investment summary. So exactly the screen which you are seeing it here, right? So basically, what it tell you is that the quick summary of your entire portfolio. Basically, you can look at here, right? The top chart, which is telling us how much you have currently invested. So it's not something so far how much totally invested. You might invested some X amount and you have redeemed it. After that, there would be a remaining amount only will be a current investment, right? So basically, your current invested amount for this investment, what was your current market value? So in my case, almost 42 lakhs I have invested, and my current market value is 52 lakhs. So I have the unrealized gain of 9,82,000. So which is 23 percentage of absolute return. Correct. Whereas I do what is that? Redeemed almost 8,84,000, and out of which my investment is almost 5 lakhs, and I have the realized gain of 3 lakhs. Okay. So which is overall in the current market value for the current investment, I got the XIRR of 15.21%, and I can able to see that my overall portfolio one day gain is 3,000 rupees loss. Okay, this is what the all top chart tell you. The second thing, uh, this is overall portfolio, but you would like to know even your individual fund level things, right? That is where this individual fund performance table comes to a picture. So basically, what it is trying to tell you is that for the for the investment journey of starting from 2017 until today, I was holding almost 6 plus 11 fund in my entire 8-year history. Correct. So in that 8-year history, um I have exited almost 5 fund, and I was only maintaining this 6 fund in my current portfolio. And this ACs represents what my current market value of this fund and how what was the current investment against it, and what the PL indicators what is the gain, absolute gain I was getting for it, and this absolute gain percentage. So considering this, I could see the Parak is the highest uh, return I got so far, which is a 26%, whereas in the SP small cap, which I got 30 percentage, but the amount of investment is lesser. That's the reason, even the percentage wise is bit on higher side, the overall return is lesser. So likewise, you will get this, and what is the daily gain, and how long you are investing on this each fund, and what was the individual fund XIRR, and how much you withdrawn so far on this fund, and what was the realized gain, and this fund, how much allocation you are on the entire portfolio. So if you look at Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, out of 52 lakhs, this is 26 percentage of my entire portfolio is Parag Parikh Flexi Cap Fund, which is a 1.4 mil, 14 lakh basically. Okay, so this is what it tell us, and this fund age is nothing but from the start. So this fund is almost 12.3 years old fund, and I was investing almost 4.2 years in this fund. Okay, so that is what it is trying to tell you. And then you can have that the other graph which tells you your yearly investment versus current market value. So basically, it tell you uh, in each year how much you have invested, so how your investment journey looks like, right? So 2017 you have invested some amount, and then and as of today whatever investment amount you made on 2017, it is grown. So it's a green is indicating the current market value and blue is indicating the your investment on that year. So likewise, if you look at it, around 2022, I made a bit of almost 7 lakh investment, and 2021 I have invested almost how much 3 lakh something like that. And 2024 I made a very huge investment, and I made even some redemption also. So this to understand how consistently you are investing it. Okay. So which year you made a higher investment, which year you are not done higher investment, and all the things. And then you have a portfolio allocations like a mid cap, small cap, flexi cap, fund wise. What is your portfolio allocation? So basically, my portfolio is flexi cap, and index fund is nothing but my UTA Nifty 50 index fund. So together, almost 26 plus 46, 46, 47 percentage I am indexing in large cap, and 28 percentage in mid cap, and 24 percentage in small cap. All my funds are direct fund. So this is all about your investment summary, what it is trying to tell you in this. So the beauty here is, let's say if you want to drill down for particular fund, let's say if I click the Parag Parikh Luxury Cap Fund, then entire matrix will be uh, refreshed for the Parag Parikh Luxury Cap Fund. So if you look at here, right? So now your current market value is 14 lakhs, current invested on this fund, and unrealized gain and all the things, and you made only small withdrawals, and this given 17.95 percentage XIRR, and all this drill down metrics you will get it. Okay, and this graph is the very important graph. You will get to know basically uh, this fund you started from 2021, and the blue color line indicates the current in the invested, and the green color indicates the market value, and the pink color indicates the returns what it is generated. So if you look at this graph, right, so basically it will, you can expand it. It is trying to say is you have invested for 2021, but until 2023, where your investment is almost 1,53,000 and your market value is 1,54,000, and you hardly generated 533 rupees. So, which is nothing but almost 2 years of your investment for the continuous investment up to 1,53,000. You are able to generate hardly 533 rupees only, and eventually you started keep investing it, and you, the immediate jump is indicating you did some lump sum investment and all the things. From this time until today I was keep investing it, and as of today my current investment is almost 11 lakhs, market value is 14 lakhs, and return is almost 3 lakhs, correct? But the interesting observation, if you look at, right, there were the period 2024, that was the peak time I got the return as 2,37,000, and eventually the market itself giving worst. So eventually my return also went down even gone down to 1,56,000. So from 2,38,000 to 1,56,000, and then and eventually it is gained again and all the things. But this blue color line, what it is trying to say is, in my case, I didn't stop any of my investment irrespective of my fund is the return is going down. I was on the opposite side, I was making more of lump sum during this downtrend, so that in the later point of time it will get benefit for me. Okay, so that is what this investment growth chart will tell you. So it's not only for this fund, you can do it for any fund, or if you can double click it, it will mimic, sorry, it will not mimic, it will plot for your entire portfolio. So if you look at your entire portfolio journey, that is also telling you. So your current day almost 9,82,000 as a return, correct? But you are investing from 2017, and your return even 2022 came down to negative 11,000, and then eventually even 2022 it is came down to only 8,000 for the investment of 8 lakh rupees, and the market value is 8 lakh 22,000, and you got only return of 8 lakh 20 sorry 8,253. So from that time, from 2020, that time onwards, my returns were gradually increased, and one point of time it reached to 12 lakh, and then came down. Now it is 82 lakh. So basically, it is, even though I have 2017 18 investment start, but my actual benefit, I see a higher returns from the 2022 after, correct, and eventually I was building my overall portfolio also. So this all telling you is that patience is the key in the market, which you eventually get rewarded. Okay, I'm not my maybe expert, but this what it is telling me in my portfolio. Okay, this is the very first features, and then the second feature what I like to bring up is portfolio versus benchmark. Okay, so this I hope everyone is understand in this community, which this is what the exact screenshot which I shared over the Mutual Fund India's group, and it got a lot of people attention, and my post got very high attention, and even yeah, thanks all for your support on those posts. So this is a main core feature of this product. Okay, so or tool. So all this mimics is exactly tell you uh, if so. Here one more thing I would like to bring up. Here we are considered only the active fund, because you there are funds which I have exited already, right? So there is no need of mimicking those funds, uh, because we cannot take any more decision on those funds, right? So only for active investment fund I have made this comparison. And uh, what it is trying to tell you is that basically, see, combining all this active fund investment, if you would have made the instead of this six fund investment, instead of this six fund, if you would have invested in Nifty 50 index fund alone, what would happen to your overall portfolio value? Correct. So this is basically apple to apple comparison. So I will tell you the example. Let's say your entire six fund together, your investment is 42 lakhs and it generated 52 lakhs, and which is the portfolio return of 9,82,000, which is a 23%. But if you would have invested in Nifty 50, correct, Nifty 50 index fund, basically your Nifty index fund generated only 49 lakhs, but your portfolio altogether six fund generated 52 lakhs. So your overall portfolio able to outperform the Nifty 50 index fund by margin of 3 lakh 15,000. So basically, you are able to, with this all portfolio, six fund portfolio combined investment, you are able to beat the Nifty 50. That is what it is trying to tell you. Similarly, you are able to beat Nifty 500, Nifty Next 50, Nifty 100, and small cap as well. But small cap, you were able to perform only the marginal 0.56 percentage additionally. But you were able to underperforming, you are underperforming as the mid cap index fund. Okay, because mid cap were able to generate for the same investment almost 53 lakhs. But you are able, your portfolio funds generated only 52 lakhs. Correct. So that is the reason it's showing a 83,000 lesser compared to your mid cap index fund. The the next part you want to understand basically, okay, so let's take an example. Nifty 50 I'm able to beat, outperform by 3 lakh 15,000, but this is, I'm able to beat consistently from my start of investment, or it is due to the recent market fluctuation, my overall portfolio is performing better. Correct. So if you look at here, right? So this is the overall portfolio level for the same investment and redemption, everything considered, with your all six fund investment together versus uh, your Nifty 50. So if you look at it from 2020 onwards, your very first investment is 3,000 on any one of the fund you might made, and then eventually you gradually added up six funds, two fund, three fund, five funds, and in this day, let's say, what it is trying to say is, in this day, uh, your six fund combined portfolio market value is 2 lakh 50 to 50,000, and if you and the Nifty 50, if you would have invested on the instead of six fund, it will be 2 lakh 48,000. So your portfolio between 2021 and all the way to 2023, it is more or less in line with the Nifty 50. And then eventually you started added, might be other funds. I have added other funds. So eventually it was able to outperform the Nifty. So consistently the green line is above the pink line, which means that green is my portfolio value and the pink is the Nifty 50 index value. So I was consistently able to beat the index. Okay, that is what it is trying to say. And you can able to correlate only for the returns perspective alone. So this is overall portfolio value, and this is uh, for the Nifty 50 for the investment of 42,000, you have generated 6,67,000 return. For the 42 lakhs investment, your portfolio fund generated 9,82,000. Correct. So that is what here it is mentioned. So in terms of return fluctuation, if you look at it, my overall portfolio were able to outperform throughout the period. Okay, that is what it is trying to explain you. So if we, let's take an example of midcap 150. In midcap 150, if you look at it, I will take an example of return alone. Return alone, if you look at it, portfolio generated 9 lakh 82, that is remains same, and the benchmark generated 10 lakh 65,000. So that is where the difference, it came to 83,000. So if you look at that, is also reflect here. Here you could see that from 2021 all the way to 2023, my returns also sometime negative, and even the midcap 150 return also went to negative until 2023, and eventually I was gradually building up my portfolio with higher lump sum and SIP investments, and you could see from 2023 onwards, Nifty 50, midcap 150 were consistently able to outperform my portfolio. But the other interesting observation is that if you look at from 2025, there was a market correction happened, and midcap and small cap fell more. During that time, my my portfolio value, the green line were sometime it was better than the mid cap 150, right? So if you look at here, this point exactly, your portfolio, my portfolio given almost 3,99,000, whereas benchmark of 150 mid cap given only 3,45,000. So which is a difference of almost 45,000 something, correct? So and eventually again mid cap picked up and it able to do very long gap between my portfolio versus mid cap 150 index. So what it is trying to tell you, uh, in the longer run my overall portfolio uh, might underperform the 150 index, but the volatility between my portfolio funds versus nifty 150 is, compared to Nifty 150 mid cap index, my volatility is lesser in my portfolio fund. That is what it is trying to say. So, in my case, considering this, the difference of 1.59 percentage, and I might not go with the Nifty 150 mid cap index fund by generating an additional return, because this has a lot of volatility. So it will psychologically affect me, and I might try to take a lot of incorrect decision of exiting and all the stuffs. That's what I'm trying to say. So similarly, the similar pattern I have observed even in the small cap, cap 250 index also. If you look at here, majority of the time 250 is up, and sometime 250 index is fell down to 1 lakh. The return were almost 12 lakhs, and it came down to 1 lakh 34,000. And my portfolio fund during that time, it is only well 3 lakh 64,000. So basically 9 lakh 55 to 3 lakh 64, whereas here 12 lakhs to all the way to 1 lakh, almost 11 lakhs gain gone on the small cap 250 index fund. So all it is trying to tell you is that, but if you look at the real picture here now, even though it is gained more, fell more, gained more, again it fell more. So my portfolio is now able to beat Nifty small cap 250 index fund even by 29,000 extra. So what it is trying to say is, even though I don't take, even though I'm not able to beat in the earlier times, my fund overall portfolio is less volatile than Nifty mid cap 150 or Nifty small cap 250. Okay, so that is what it is trying to tell you. Now you got this overall portfolio, how we compared and all the things. The next fund performance over benchmark is the one which will tell you exactly. Okay, let's take an example of Nifty 50. Nifty 50, you were able to beat 3 lakh 50, 50 3 lakh 15,000. But whether the overall six funds combined, it is able to beat. But what happened to my individual fund? Correct. Whether the overall outperform consistency because of all six funds able to beat the Nifty 50, or very few funds beating Nifty 50 and few are not even beating Nifty 50. That is what we want to know, right? So that is where you will get this from this table. So basically, what it is trying to tell you is that we mimic the Parakvari flexi cap investment, every investment and redemption against a Nifty 50, Nifty 500, Nifty Next 50, 100, 150, and small cap. And if you look at the overall picture here, if you compare Nifty 50 against Nifty 50, all my funds are green. Green indicate I am able to outperform the Nifty 50, and all my six funds not able to outperform Nifty 5, able to outperform except UTI Nifty 50 fund. UTI Nifty fund able to outperform Nifty 5, Nifty 50, but not able to outperform Nifty 500, which is fine because Nifty 50 is a Nifty 50 index fund which tracks which is better to compare against Nifty 50, and all other index it is not able to outperform. And how much it is not able to outperform is, let's say this one is uh, 14 14,000 lesser compared to my current fund performance. Okay, so that was so 1 million my current UTA Nifty 50 fund, and if I would have invested in Nifty 500, I might get 1 million plus this 14,000. So basically, because of investing Nifty 50 index fund, I have lost 14,000 because I have not invested in Nifty 500 index fund. That is what it's trying to tell you. So if you see the green line, which means that this fund able to beat this index fund. If you see red line, this fund respective fund not able to beat the respective index fund. So your overall, let's come to the main point. So your overall Nifty 50, uh, all six funds combined able to beat the Nifty 50 index fund because your entire six funds able to beat the Nifty 50. So which is a good sign. Nifty 500, if you look at it, Nifty 500 also your overall portfolio able to beat uh, against the Nifty 500, but that is primarily contributed by all other five funds except UTA Nifty 50. If this also outperformed the Nifty 500, then the difference could be even more higher. So almost 2,40,000 or something. Correct. So that is how you can able to correlate it, and you can even uh, let's say I take an example of Parag Parik Flexi Cap Fund. You can check the consistency for individual fund also. So if I take Parag Parik Flexi Cap Fund, Nifty 50, uh, Nifty 50 I'm able to beat Nifty 500. All the index I'm able to beat. So basically, all six index fund I'm able to beat. That's the reason it reflected in green color, and I can able to see this fund versus Nifty 50, Nifty 500, and then any other index. So the point which I am trying to explain here is you can able to uh, compare or mimic entire portfolio funds together or individual fund against the any indexes. Okay, so the beauty here is it's not only limited to this index. We have provisions, so you can even compare against any gold fund, or let's say instead of mid cap 150 fund, there is a famous Motilal mid cap fund. I want to compare mid cap Motilal fund. That is also possible. But the only thing is you need to make sure that if you are the for comparison whatever fund you are choosing, let's say Motilal mid cap fund for the for my let's say any other mid cap fund, that fund should have should have started or it should be a older enough to have a NAV data. Okay, see basically what I'm trying Parag Parik Flexi Cap Fund I have invested for 4.2 years. So my first NAV is 2021, and Motilal Oswal is just started 2023. Then I don't have a NAV to compare for this fund in order to mimic the feature. So whatever fund you are going to compare, that should also started or it should be older than the your current invested fund. Then only you can able to mimic this exact feature. In my case, all my funds or the active funds are almost 5 years old, and all these five, six index funds also greater than 5 years old. So I can able to mimic from the my fund start time onwards. Okay, so this all about this futures, and you can even navigate based on the time period as well. Last 1 month, what happened? Uh, what was the return and all those things. This remains constant. There won't be any change here as well as here. Only the graph and benchmark return and portfolio return get adjusted to have a maximized view. Okay, those things are portfolio versus benchmark. Now, okay, let's assume that you have. Mm, let's take an example of one fund. Axis Midcap Fund, which is an active fund in my portfolio, which I have to compare against Midcap 150 fund, and I am comparing against for entire investment period, and I could see that my fund able to generate 1 lakh to 2 lakh 60,000, and Midcap 150 fund able to generate 2 lakh 72,000. So there is a difference of 12,000 rupees. Correct. So my fund underperforming the Midcap 150 index fund. But the beauty here is if you look at Midcap 150 as always has a higher volatility. It was the difference initial days it was very higher, and then when it is correction happened, some my fund fell less than the Midcap 150 and all the things. Now you got this point saying that okay, Midcap 150 is not able to beat. Should I exit or hold it? So that all depends on your decisions. Basically, uh, if I would suggest anything, this my understanding. So if, I am not much worried about this 1% degradation. Okay. So if anything beyond 10 or 20%, then there is a in the longer run the 20 percentage cap. Even though my fund started performing, I cannot able to meet with the mid cap 150 index because of the cap between my fund versus mid cap 150 is very large. So that is where my action has to be taken to eliminate it. But based on only this, if you are eliminating, uh, I don't think so. That is the right way, correct? Because this all mimicked for your fast investment. What happened to until current today? But you want to know what is the future potential, whether this fund going to perform similar matter even in future, or how volatile this fund or how consistent this fund or this fund performed better earlier before I start investing this fund. Obviously, we might chosen this fund based on the past history of the fund. How we chosen? Primarily, I looked into a rolling return analysis, right? So during 2020, I think 2021, 2020 period, Axis AMC is one of the top performing Axis AMC. That is where I have picked those funds. But after I started investing, it is showing this kind of performance. So in order to exit this fund, this one data point we got clear that it is not able to beat. But I want to look for the other two dimension also. That is something I will always look for rolling return analysis. Okay. So the rolling return analysis also I have included here. So basically if you go here, this also get auto generated within our tool itself. So we want to see whether before that I want to convey here. So what and all it is trying to give the data point here. So basically, you can able to select individual fund or the investor fund or the benchmark fund and category wise if you want to see you can see it, and then individual fund wise if you want to compare you can compare it and all the things and across for the different rolling return period. Okay. So if you look at here, right, so what metrics we are trying to cover here is what is the total age of this fund from when it is started, and type is indicate whether this fund is you invested, and the benchmark indices is basically we have considered this fund as a benchmark fund. Yeah, one other important thing, see the benchmark whatever we have compared in portfolio versus benchmark things, basically we have taken the other index fund, other index mutual fund. Okay, that is always remember. So for Nifty 50 we have chosen the HDFC Nifty 50, and then Nifty 100 we chosen the Axis, and then mid cap 150 index are Motilal Oswal, something like that. Okay. Likewise, you can even choose any other uh, fund also, Motilal Oswal or whatever fund you want to compare against. So the rolling return here we have is that 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. What it indicates is what was the average rolling return for 1 year period, 3 year period, 5 year, and 10 year period. And then return statistics tell you based on your selection. Let's say 1 year. For 1 year in the sense, so here 1 year in the sense, uh, you have started investing this Aditya Birla, or your portfolio very first investment started from 2017, correct? So we taken the rolling return analysis only from the 2017, because anything before that I'm not considering here, because I want to understand whether my Axis Midcap Fund, which I have invested for past 5 6 years, not able to beat the 150 index fund. But for my SIP date or my lump sum date, but how it performed for other investment date, right? So that is where the rolling return will tell you. So rolling return will help you will calculate for every day the moving average. So uh, so if even though my Axis Midcap fund is 12.6 years old, I am not having the 10-year rolling return. That is because I have calculated only from the 2017 onwards. Okay. So you will have a data point for 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year, not for 10 year. Okay. So let's take an example. 1 year average rolling return I was considering. So basically the graph, if you look at, let me take Axis Midcap Fund and Motilal Oswal Midcap 150 Index Fund. Hmm. Axis Midcap Fund, my actual investment is almost from when I started Axis Midcap Fund, I was investing from almost 4 years, starting from September 2021. September 2021, and Midcap Index Fund is age itself only 5.8 years. Okay, so I have invested only for 4 years, so I can able to compare against Midcap 150 Index Fund. So I can even consider this for the my analysis purpose. So if you look at here, right, this is where exactly both funds started having the data point. The rest of the period, only Axis Midcap has a data point. So if you look at here, right, so 16th September 2020, 22 percentage Axis Midcap, Midcap 150 given 17 percentage. What it is trying to tell you? The investment happened on 16/09/2019 2, and you have exited 16/9/2020. After 1 year you have invested. 2019 you invested and 2020 you have exited. In that case, Axis Midcap given 22 percentage return, Motilal Midcap given only 17 percentage return. So if anyone invested on this period and exited on 1 year, for them Axis Midcap given a better return than the Nifty 1 cap index fund. But that is how this rolling return data you have to look at it. 2021 means for this data point you have invested 2020 5th February and you exited on 5th February 2021. Likewise, if you look at it, the overall overall pattern, the mid-cap 150 index fund for 1 year, if anyone holds and exit, majority of the time, mid-cap 150 given a better return. Mid-cap 150 given a better return versus Axis. But in the recent time, Axis able to behave better. Okay, so that is what it is trying to tell you. And if you look at average, median, max, and min and standard deviation. So these are very important metrics. This is 1 year, 3 year average is the number. But if you selected 1 year, this average, median, max, min, standard deviation, and the return distribution is specific to 1 year alone. So 1 year, if you look at axis given average of 21 percentage from here all the way to here, it get averaged and you are getting 21%. Max is 82%. But Motilal Midcap 150, you got only from this to this average of 31 percentage, median is 26, max is 114%. And even Axis Midcap given the very worst return of 14 percentage negative return. So that is during the 2020 uh, period. So basically 2019 who invested, they got exited on 2020 and they got 14 percentage negative return. So these all okay, but I would generally prefer this standard deviations. So what it is trying to tell you is that how volatile the returns were. See, Nifty Midcap 150 is, even though it is performing, outperforming it, but some point of time it is going underperforming against the Nifty Axis Midcap. Correct. So if someone invested here, let's say um, 2025, and someone invested on 2024, for them, the rolling return is saying that Axis given the better return than the Motilal Midcap 150 index fund. So we cannot, based on the rolling return alone, we cannot generally say like this fund performed better over other. It all depends on when you enter and when you exit. Okay, that is what matter, and you need to primarily look for standard deviation. So Axis Midcap 20 percentage, Motilal 26 percentage. What it means? The average, the return between your min, max, and average is fluctuating it way more higher than the Axis Midcap. Your volatility is 20% here, and here it is 26%. So which means Motilal Midcap 150 is too much volatile. Too much volatile, too much risk, and you are getting a better return. But uh, that that all true depends on when you enter and when you exit. Okay, and then return distribution percentage of time is basically tell you uh, this 21 percentage you are getting it and all the things, right? Average. But how much percentage of the time? So uh, out of this 2017 onwards, uh, there are 11 percentage of the time. So 11 percentage of the time you got even negative return, and then only 0 to 10 percentage on 24 percentage of the time, 10 to 20 percentage, 23 percentage of time, and all the things. Motilal Midcap 50 negative return given only 5%, 4.8 percentage of the time, and majority of the time, 60 percentage of the time, it given greater than 20 percentage return, because this started just 2020 2019 onwards, whereas this started way long before. Correct. So this negative 11 percentage accounted this 2020 fall also for Axis Midcap. Okay, so likewise, you can do all the rolling return analysis here uh, uh, for any fund or any benchmark fund and all the things. Okay, so this was the rolling return features which we have incorporated, and the other thing is NAV purchase analysis report. So what it means? So basically, this is for someone who is really interested in uh, how do I make the decision of lump sum investment? Correct. I have given in the post also. Mm, let's take an example. Let's say Parakvarik Flexi Cap Fund, right? The respective index is to compare is the Nifty 500. Nifty 500 fell 5, let's assume the 10 percentage. And you are right away taking a decision of, okay, Nifty 500 is fell 10 percentage, let me make a lump sum investment. That is a good decision or bad decision, or we need to take that lump sum investment decision. That all, there is no proper data point to take a decision, right? So that is where this feature is helps here. So basically what we are trying to understand here is that this average, min, max, median, and all the things. Uh, let me take example. Parakparik Flexicap Fund. So I have invested starting from 2021. Correct. So this this blue line indicates NAV, and that green line indicates when I made the purchase and what was the units I was accumulated. If you look at the NAV were keep fluctuating and gradually going up, and something like that. The very spikes is indicating I made a intermediate lump sum investment. So this graph will tell you when you made an investment and that point of time what is your fund NAV looks like. NAV, whether the investment lump sum investment you made with when the NAV were dropped huge, and then you got the real advantage of buying the lump sum or not. But if you look at, right, without, before developing this tool I was simply tracking the index and made the lump sum decision. But when I looked at this chart, i was I was I was surprised. I'm majority of the time I made the lump sum investment, even then the market was not fell that uh, high. Okay. So what we are trying to say here, so we got all your what is the average NAV you purchased so far, and minimum, maximum, median, and although, and what is the current NAV. Okay. So here if you look at average purchased NAV versus current day NAV, so this tell you your NAV, whatever NAV you have purchased so far, how much uh, how much it's better or cheaper or better. So 72 rupees, 72 rupees as the NAV, you average NAV you purchased it. But current NAV is 92 rupees. So which is a difference of 20 rupees. So you are, if you are buying it now, then your average NAV will go up 74, 78 based on your actual investment amount. Correct. And then all-time high versus current NAV changes, basically to understand uh, what is the maximum NAV value you purchased. So here if you look at, so I have purchased it for maximum of 93 rupees, and the current NAV is 92 rupees. So which is a fall of 0.7. So my NAV is, current NAV, if I go and invest some lump sum or amount, I'm not getting that cheap NAV. Correct. So if I purchase is more or less uh, what is that, all-time high NAV what I purchased. Similarly, all-time low NAV versus current date NAV. So this all information just to given a data point whether my fund current NAV is cheaper or not. Will I make a lump sum investment or not? That is a conclusion you can make out of it. Okay, that is all about this NAV purchase analysis feature. Then coming to tax. Okay, this tax is something, as you all know, we made almost 8 lakh. I made almost 8 lakh withdrawal. But I want to know uh, how much is the realized gain I got it, and what was the purchase cost, and how much is the tax I have to pay, which financial year I have purchased and redeemed, and whether it is a falls under long-term capital gain or short-term capital gain. All these things you can get it from here. From 2022 financial year to all the way to 2023. So basically 2022 to 2023, I have redeemed something. If you would have redeemed in 2017, that also get populated here. So how much you reduced on this financial year, and what was the purchase cost, and what was the realized gain you have achieved, and then what is the tax for that. So 372 rupees your gain, which is falls under the long term capital gain, because the SAP SPA small cap fund which you have redeemed, this unit were purchased what is it, 3 4 years back, and those that eligible for the long term capital gain. But if you look at here, HDFC Mid Cap Fund, I have redeemed around 200 rupees, realized gain 32 rupees, but it fall under short term capital gain because this unit I have purchased recently within a year, and I sold one unit for just for testing purpose. Okay, so that is what you will get it from here, the tax report. And then finally, the transaction summary report, which is basically tell you uh, there are some correction I have to do, which I will incorporate in the later. Uh, this all basically tell you like what was your month, how much you are monthly investing it, how much you are investing it, to track your everyday transactions. So, and you can track via SIP or lump sum or redemptions, and then regular fund or fund wise and all the things. Okay, yeah, these are the feature primarily uh, we have developed. I have developed. So to give quick summary, so basically the portfolio summary is nothing but your uh, snapshot of your entire portfolio as of today, what it is looks like. And then portfolio versus benchmark is nothing but you can the core feature, you can compare your portfolio against any index fund or any other fund, and you can do even individual fund analysis comparison as well. And then rolling return is the other metrics. Even if you plan to invest any new fund, you can mimic the new fund against a portfolio of individual fund versus benchmark, and then you can analyze even rolling return as well, so that you can get two data point to decide whether I can go with the investment or not. And then NAV purchase analysis, something to take a decision of lump sum or not. And then transaction summary is used to track the transaction, taxes for tax understanding and all the things. Okay, so yeah, these all the features which I have developed so far, and and I mentioned in the post how this tool works. So to give a quick summary, how this tool works is primarily this is developed for based on the Power BI technology, which required Power BI desktop tool has to be installed, and the primary input of this thing is your mutual fund transaction statement, which you can get it from the government website, CAMS. CAMS website. I have posted summarized what steps need to be followed in order to get the CAMS statement, and that is the primary input. And we have a tool which is a license-based tool, which I will offer when this tool is ready. Along with that, so that with that tool you will upload the statement, and the statement get processed in the Power BI automatically, and then you will get all this analysis. So the tool, uploading a statement to that tool is the first step, and this analysis tool is the second step where you can do that. Okay, and uh, there are a few more integration steps to download the NAV and all the things, which also I am trying to work on that. Okay, so the final thing what I'm like to get from everyone is that I want the genuine feedback from you all. So whatever feature we have developed so far, it is really adding any value to you all, or you see it's a too much of information. So I don't want these kind of too many features and all the things. So I want genuine feedback. What you are looking, which is uh, I'm able to meet those requirements, or you are still require few more uh, features or few more requirement has to be satisfied, which is missing. I want those things. You can also feel free to comment on those things. So, which is where I really interested in it, so that I can make these features a tool so that anyone can benefit. Okay, so to conclude, I will be trying to finish this integrations and make the tool ready by end of this September. I'm planning to offer for 10 or 20 our community members for beta testing so that I can get a review feedback and all the things. After that, we will be circulating to others as well. And one more important thing, so this the whole feature or this whole tool which I have spent almost a year of time to develop this. So I'm planning to productize this entire tool. So I'm planning to charge some minimal amount uh, for each license basis. Okay, so we will be giving a license, and then you can activate the license and you can do this analysis on within your PC. So please remember, no data goes out of your PC. Okay, so no need to worry about what happened. Will it go outside or not? No, no such things happens. That's all primarily uh, I want to convey what is the progress on what features we are working. I'm working on it, and how it is really helping you moving forward. Okay, yeah, thank you all.